I'm photographer David duChemin, and this is Vision is Better, a sometimes weekly podcast about the craft and art of photography. Welcome here. This is episode 53 of Vision is Better. The FedEx guy has just left and dropped off a box of books. Just dropped off the very first copies of the second edition of Within the Frame. For those of you that have been around these here parts, you know that Within the Frame was my very first book. It kind of put me where I am in the sense that most of you know about me because of something that I have written, and this was the first something that I writ. So I want to do two things with this episode. First, I just wanted to tell you it's out. I'm very excited about it. The second edition of Within the Frame was an opportunity for me to kind of update it, to bring the book to a new market, to be able to say, hey, look, it's new, it's shiny. So that's what we're doing with this, but we're also making it newer and shinier. So I had a chance to rewrite some things. You know, as you grow, your vision changes, and my vision for the book has changed a little bit. Not much, but some of the photographs, for example, many of them were duotone that I had post-processed over 6 years ago, a long time ago. And they did not reflect what I currently think about my work. So I rendered them a lot of them in black and whites. I swapped out a lot of photographs, added some new stuff, images that I think are stronger than some of the previous work. I added some creative exercises, just basically kind of made it better, stronger, more reflective of the person that I have become. If you're the kind of person that needs to have every new thing that comes out, by all means, it's available on Amazon.com. It's shipping now. If you're the kind of person that writes a lot of notes in their books and dog-ears them, and your copy is falling apart, by all means, go out, rush to the keyboard and buy it now. However, I would not suggest, we did not put this out so that people that love this book would run out and buy another copy. And I don't want you to do that if you don't need to, because it is not a new book. If it was a new book, I would have written a new book. This is just a second edition. So I want to tell you that because I don't think it's fair to encourage you to buy a new copy of a second edition under the assumption that it is a brand new book. It is not. There is new material in the book. There's some new writing in the book. There's new creative exercises and new photographs, but it is still the same Within the Frame that you have known and loved in many, many ways. Thank you so much. Many of you are the reason that I'm doing things like podcasts and not serving French fries at McDonald's. So thank you. What else did I want to tell you? I wanted to tell you that you have an opportunity to win one of 3 copies of Within the Frame. Actually, you have an opportunity to win one of 6 signed copies because I'm putting 3 of them on Instagram. So what I've said on Instagram is post a photograph of your copy of Within the Frame somewhere in the world, or sitting on your desk, or falling apart with all the dog ears and the marginalia inside, and tell me what the book has meant to you. Tag me, this part's important, tag me on the photograph on Instagram, and in a week or two, when people have had a chance to do this, I'll just randomly pick 3 people, and I will send 1 copy to each of you once I get your mailing address, and I will sign it for you. That's on Instagram. However, on YouTube, I want to give people an opportunity as well, and really, if you would just leave a comment in the comment section and make sure you're subscribing to the YouTube channel. If you're subscribing to the channel and you leave a comment on this particular episode's YouTube comment function, I will draw one of your names, get your mailing address, and we will send that out to you. And if you do both, you have a better chance to win. This is just one way for me to say thank you, because it means a great deal to me that you would read this book. And I don't know any author that does this for the money, because the reality is the money in books is not great. I used to say, I don't know how anyone makes any money in writing books, but the publishers seem to do okay. Having said that, I also want to tell you how I got the book deal, because I don't think everyone knows the story, and many people assume that you have to have some kind of significant impact in the world. You have to be a guy that's already written a book in order to get a book deal, and that is not the case. I had this idea for a book that was about the passionate photography of people, places, and culture, which is, of course, what Within the Frame became, although it became more than that in the end. And I wanted to talk to someone who knew this stuff. So at the time, Scott Kelby, who I have the utmost respect for, is a consummate professional and businessman. I sent him an email through his people, and he knew me enough that we had exchanged very brief comments on blogs, but not much more than to have a very friendly and sarcastic exchange, and that was kind of about it. But I sent him an email on the off chance that he would be willing to let me buy him lunch. I said, Scott, if I fly to Orlando, can I buy you lunch? In the end, he picked up the tab, which was very cool of him. But the offer was there, and I said, I've got a couple things I want to talk to you, and I want to throw an idea at you, because what I wanted was for him to tell me, one, whether my idea had any legs at all, and two, I hoped for an introduction to whoever his acquisitions editor at the publishing house was. So he said yes, absolutely, and we made a date. And I had no money. I was flat broke. And another friend that, frankly, I actually also didn't know that well, but who loved what I was doing and clearly believed in me enough to extend the offer, said, well, I'd like to pay for your way to Orlando. The flights were not, super cheap. And so I, on someone else's ticket with a great deal of gratitude, flew to Orlando, had lunch with Scott, and pitched him the idea. And that led to a conversation, an introduction and a conversation to Ted Waite, who to this day is still my editor and a good friend. And eventually they walked me through how to create a book proposal. They walked me through the first drafts and the trip eventually that I would take to photograph for this book. And as they say, the rest is history. And I think my point is this. You can have, I'm always on about having courage and taking risks and stuff like that, but it's not, I don't say it because it just gives me something to talk about. You can know how to use a camera, you can know how to use a word processor, whatever it is that that is your craft, that you're good at, that your particular place in the world. But it is not until you take chances and risk and leverage some of those relationships, as I hope you will be available for others to leverage you if you ever get to a position where you can help others. But to ask people, hey, what do you think about this? Would you be willing to introduce me to this person? Can you help me? Because ultimately, you, as I alluded to, you become, you get eventually, when people help you, into a position, I hope, where you will and can help other people. They say it's not what you know, it's who you know, and that's absolutely true. So I guess my encouragement to you is this, is leverage those relationships. And I say leverage in a really, I hope a respectful way, because I don't think, while I think people want to be used, I want to be used. I just don't want to be abused. Cue Annie Lennox and the Eurythmics. I want people to feel that they can use me, to get something out of me. I want my life to be a legacy of helping people and causing change and that sort of thing. But you have to reach out to the people that can help you. You have to take that chance. You have to write that email or make that phone call and persist. Get through the gatekeepers. You would be surprised at how many people are actually willing to help you do the thing you want to do, because my life has changed dramatically with the input and the help of a lot of people, many of you included, for reading the book. I want to affect those same changes in other people. And I think most people that have got wherever it is they are, I'm just a guy who writes books and makes photographs and writes blogs and stuff. But I still have the ability to help people, and it thrills me when someone takes the initiative to say, hey, I was wondering if you could help me with this. I can't always, certainly can't help everyone, but I love to pay it forward. And there are a lot of people that will do so, but it requires the risk to knowing that you could get shot down, knowing that this particular person may not be the right person, but it may lead you to another person. I have rambled on, as is my tendency, but I do want to encourage you simply to take risks, because all of this, everything that I have now in terms of the way that I live my life, in terms of the stories I get to tell, in terms of the opportunities that I have, all of them have come through well, one through my blog, for which I'm very grateful, but also through other people that I have met on my blog, and taking risks, taking chances, whatever it is, whether it's the gig that you want to get you to the next level as a wedding photographer, or you want to get published here. It's not a complicated process. You get someone's attention, you tell them what you intend, and then you sell the hell out of it. You make sure that it's full of value, that other people want it, that it's a good idea, and you be open to people saying, I like the seed of that idea, but have you considered going here and doing this and tweaking it and changing it? There's a lot of humility involved in this kind of thing. It's not easy to swallow when people give you that kind of feedback. That too is part of the risk that we take. Whatever it is that you're doing, take a risk today. Have a little bit of courage. Don't wait until you're fearless, because courage is taking chances in the face of fear, not in the absence of fear. Thank you again so much for being part of my book, Within the Frame, because if you've read it, you are. If you are about to go to Amazon and buy a copy, or buy a copy for someone that you know and love and think could benefit from it, thank you. If you already have Within the Frame and you intend to buy the second edition, would you do me a favor when you get it, when you take a look at it, if you can leave a positive, enthusiastic, honest, but raving review on Amazon? Of course I would be grateful. We're starting all over on this one. This particular book has no stars, has no reviews, and the more feedback it gets, the better. I've droned on and on. Thank you so much. Remember, gear is good, but vision's better. We'll see you next time. Take care.